a nice, beautiful Sunday morning where I'm at. We'll be bringing on our guests in a moment. Different time zone, but Rock has no time limit or time zone. Dane sends his love. He's calling a tournament this weekend, live broadcasting, but that's okay because I love getting to do the music side just a little more than the sports. I'm excited. You guys, this gentleman that I'll be bringing on here in a little bit, I've got to tell you, for fans of music like Clutch and Red Fang in that scene, these guys are in that same upper echelon of just great rock, progressive solos, just rock your face off, but also give you some melodies at the same time. So this band, Truckfighters, you guys have known them from the early days of Desert Cruiser. Obviously, they're live in London in 2016, and their body of work is just beautiful. I got to start following the guitarist Niklas a while back and just watching how he plays, just passion, endless energy, and just leaves it all on the stage, if you will. So I finally was able to track him down and bring on one of my guitar heroes right now, Niklas himself. Hey, Niklas, how you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm doing very good here.
Awesome, man. How's the tour going for you? You guys still on tour right now?
No, actually, we do more like weekend trips this spring here in Europe. So we fly down and we play a show or two or three, and then we go
Okay.
home and then we go back a week or two or three later. So it's a
Okay.
bit more convenient, I think, with the families and not be away so much.
Understood, man. So you kind of get a chance to rock, but then be with the family during the week. Pretty cool, man. I like it.
Yeah,
So
good.
got a few questions for you, man. I'll get started. I know your time is precious, so I'm going to start with this one. Obviously, you've been playing at a high level for a long time. I love what you do. Watching you play just inspires me, even after playing 20 years. I'm curious, man, when the love for playing guitar began. Maybe how old were you? When did you get the itch to start playing guitar in your life? You know?
I was 12 or 11, I think, something like that. First,
Okay.
we went to this, try instrument day on the musical school in the town, which is Sweden has kind of a cultural school in every town, which is basically government funded, where all the kids can go try for. They don't pay much. Like the parents don't have to be rich, to buy an instrument. And in the early days, there, if you're young, the kids can borrow an instrument or they can rent it very cheap for a year and stuff like that. So we went there just trying all these instruments. And then I was like, yeah, I want to play the electric bass. So then I started to play bass for a year when I was 11, but it wasn't really my thing. And then my brother started playing guitar. So then I was like, nah, I think I'm going to play guitar like my big brother has done. Uh, but I think in that wave, I kind of got into guitar music. I was more like consciously listening to music than before. And I discovered Nirvana, and that's like when my world changed. So I wanted to be Kurt.
I love it. Well, hey, you're doing a great job, man. I tell you what, and making your own brand too. I asked you this question. I remember my first. Everyone, has those guitars they play, but when you got your first baby guitar, if you will, my first was an Ibanez Roadstar, and I'll never forget it. It was Midnight Purple. That's my baby. When you were able to like maybe save up the funds or buy your own like first guitar that you cherished, what kind of guitar was it? I'm curious.
Oh, this is actually fun, I think, because I made the guitar myself. I bought the neck and I bought obviously the electronics, but I made the body myself in school. And
Okay.
so then I had my own guitar and I played it for, yeah, it must have been between, I was like 14 to maybe 20 years old. So I had my own guitar. And then I bought a Rickenbacker, which I played for, I think, maybe 6 or 7 years, always.
I
And
love
then
it.
I went into some the GTs that I played since then. Kind
Awesome.
of got addicted to them. So now I kind of collect them, but I tried to stop buying them.
It's
So
hard, man.
yeah, I know.
I got you. No worries. Oh, great. I love it. I kind of thought so, but I was just curious about that. So obviously you played a lot of festivals, a lot of gigs, man. I've been watching your storied career. The London show was awesome. Hellfest was cool. And all these things you've done through your career and still going at a high level. I know it'd be impossible to say maybe one gig or so, but is there maybe like a time frame or a couple of gigs that just really stand out to you as being, man, this has been one of my favorites so far, if you have one or two of those?
Uh, well, at the time, I know back in 2007 when we supported Fu Manchu in Europe for two tours, for us that was huge.
Yeah.
now we play bigger venues or the same size venues like we supported them then, and it's just normality and it's nothing special. But back then it was like, wow, this is so cool. So
Yeah.
I remember that. And I remember, I think around that same time we played one of the first editions of Stone from the Underground in Germany. And at that time, I think it was 1,000 people coming to that small festival. And we was like, wow, this is so cool. And the gig was great. And people came rounding up the stage when we started playing. And we never experienced that before. Uh, so, I mean, at that time, for us, that was like super cool.
Okay. Yeah.
I think if you see it, I mean, a bit later in the career, I mean, for me personally, it was very fun when we played the festival in Quebec where Soundgarden was headlining and we played the 2 slots before. Since I'm a big Soundgarden fan, always was and still am. I mean, that's one of the few bands that I still think is good. I mean, my old heroes like Pearl Jam, for example, I don't like it at all what they do now, but I like the old stuff. But Soundgarden, I still like the new album they did, and I like the old things. So that was cool. And then, so like, what do you call it in English? The cream on top of the.
The cream of the crop.
No, no. Then the little special thing was that my guitars didn't show up on the plane. I mean,
Oh,
it was somewhere in Europe, so I ended up playing Kim Thayil's guitar in the show, which was quite cool.
wow. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, cool, and also a huge, very big stage. So cool. So I thought it was
Gotcha.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, man. What a
But
memory. What a memory. Yeah.
and another more recent when my period, I think it was when we came back, we did a little break for a year, 1.5, and then we came back to play the Gravity X album from finish to start. And I think that the tour was kind of a high experience because we had been away and we didn't really know what to expect. And we felt that it was fun to hang out together again and play together again. And then, I mean, all the shows were packed, the whole tour. So that was very, very fun. Even though, I mean, it wasn't like it was the biggest venues ever, but just the feeling of the whole tour was really good, I think.
See, I like what you said about that, Nicholas, because you have this dynamic where you're playing massive festivals and also intimate club settings and things like that. And that's what's cool about a musician like you. I've watched you play some of your festivals and some of the smaller ones, and you give it that same high energy. Just it is just intense from start to finish. Your fans love you for that, me included, because it doesn't matter if there's 100 or 10,000 or 30,000 people, you're going to give it all you got, and we respect you for that. Which leads me to my next question influence wise. I know you kind of mentioned Kurt Cobain. I've followed some of your media in the past, and of course Chris Cornell. When I watch you play, it's interesting as a guitarist. I imagine I see like Flea embodying you and these different people. So I'm curious, a couple of influences, maybe performers or obviously musicians. Who's a couple influences on you in your life? You know?
Yeah. Uh, I mean, musical wise, at the first, I mean, Nirvana was the only band I listened to for a few years, and then the whole grunge scene. I think, I mean, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
Yeah.
I also liked Dinosaur Jr. for a while, the '90s albums they did, and especially his guitar tone I like a lot. So and then I think like the last major influence on me, which I mean it's a long ago now, was when I discovered Caius and Queens of the Stone Age,
Yeah.
and which was basically just when Caius quit, then I discovered them. So yeah, around the late '90s, early 2000. After that, I'm not influenced anymore.
I understand. I have to agree with you. I say this all the time. I'm almost 40, and my generation of music is influenced by 90s or at least began in the 90s. I agree with you. No disrespect to current music, but it's just not the same as artists like yourself that have been around and played, to be honest, better quality music. So I'm with you 100%, man. So next question, as I look at, obviously Fuzzarama and what you're doing with the label and then the band and all that stuff, what's next year looking like for you as an artist or a producer? You got a busy slate this next year, or how's that looking for you?
I mean, playing shows regularly because we love to play and we make money from that, which is good. But we also actually said now that we're gonna make a new Truckfighters album sometime. So we started to gather some ideas for that, at least. So I mean, last album came out 2016. So now we're saying that it should be within a 10-year radius from that last album. We should have a new one coming. We have to start now.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's interesting because if you look at music and the way music revolves, right? So if you take 2016 and now what's beautiful about this, even though you guys are still young and in your prime, now my children are jamming to you in a different way that I did. Obviously, I'm a very big fan. Me, I like Calm Before the Storm. My daughter obviously is a huge fan of Desert Cruiser. So it's neat to see the next generation. You now have a chance to influence an entire new generation of music. You know what I mean? So
who knows what's gonna happen 10 years since they last. It can sound like pop music, maybe. No,
maybe that'd be cool. I'm sure be good. So, couple more questions.
I think I mean, musically wise, I think we always made a thing out of not trying to do the same thing, even though we don't think so much when we do music. We just do it. You know, the god of rock and roll is
right.
Like,
I'm with you. So I'm going to transition to a segment, Nicholas. You're going to laugh about this. Okay, this is something we're known for worldwide. Our fans from Fiji to Finland to Japan, they send us questions that are called rapid fire. This little segment, now we keep it friendly and clean, but we get really weird. It's awesome. This little segment is called rapid fire. I don't prep you for this. You're going to laugh. I have 5 questions, and there's no wrong answer. You get to decide based off your personality what we have bet on you, Dane. Even though my co-host is not here, he's calling a live game. We already have the questions, and we bet on what we think you're going to say. We have a little lunch wager on you. So go with your heart. You pick your right answer, and the winner gets lunch provided by the loser. Okay? So, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. So first question. We're taking you, because time travel exists in this fake segment, we're transitioning you back into 1992. As you're the guitarist that you're known for today, and 2 of these bands say, hey, both of our guitarists are sick for the night. We're playing a festival. We need you to fill in, and you get to decide who you play for that night. It's up to you. You can fill in for the night for Megadeth, or you can fill in for the night for Anthrax. You make the choice. Which one are you going to fill in for?
Oh, I don't really listen to any of those bands, but I guess I would say Megadeth.
Let's go. I had you for that. I really did. Awesome. Again, these are just personality questions. It's just kind of to pick your brain a little bit, okay? So question 2, we're going back to one of the last Woodstocks. You guys got invited to play. So it's 1998 or so, whatever it was, and you're there. And 2 of these guitarists, I love both of them. They're somehow both alive at this segment. They say, hey, we'd like to actually arm wrestle you on stage. We think you're awesome, but I want to get on stage and arm wrestle you. Okay, so your choice is you can arm wrestle the great Zakk Wylde, love him, or you can arm wrestle Randy Rhoads. He was able to transport and be alive during the segment. Zakk Wylde, Randy Rhoads, who are you going to arm wrestle on stage?
Zakk Wylde.
Let's go. 2 for 2. I'm crushing it. I'm beating Dane. Dane's 0 for 2. I love this. Here we go. In a transition, as you talked about pop, let's say for the next album, you guys get together and someone asks you to make a cover song in a completely different direction. You're known for your awesome, heavy, aggressive riffs. They want you to take a pop song and cover it and give it your spin, Truckfighter style. The 2 songs you can choose from to cover and put your spin on it is A Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, make it rock style, or you can choose Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton. You guys get to put your spin on it. Which one are you going with?
Let's take Unbreak My Heart then.
Let's go. Let's go. I actually had you for that, so I'm crushing it. 3 for 3. So transitioning to question 4, someone asked you to help produce a country album, like whole different genre, different phase of music in your life. And so these 2 artists say, hey, we want you to play guitar on our album from start to finish. We want you to track it in the studio. Your 2 choices, you can have Brooks and Dunn, you play their album, record it and track it, or you can be the guitarist for Billy Ray Cyrus. Brooks and Dunn, Billy Ray, which one are you going with?
I have no idea who those artists are.
Okay, so okay. That's okay. No worries. No worries at all, man. They're a big stateside country artist from the 90s, so I figured maybe the 90s thing. That's okay.
So not thing here.
No worries, man. No worries at all. That's cool. So last rapid question before I finish up. So you're asked to make a concept instrumental album for 2 movies that are coming out. Next year, there's a remake of the Terminator movie, and the next chapter of the Transformers movie, and you get to decide which one you want to make the background concept album for, instrumental. Which one are you going with?
Terminator, obviously. That's it so far.
Let's go. Got it, man. So I picked 4 out of 5. I got you right on those. So, man, I appreciate you doing that. This little silly segment we do called Rapid. I appreciate your good sport there. I did beat Dane, my co-host, so he owes me lunch. So thank you for getting me lunch. I appreciate it. So the last segment, Nicholas, before I get you back to your busy schedule, the last segment we call this open mic. What this is, people like yourself, whether it's an artist like yourself or an athlete, the reason Dane and I began doing this show is we like to watch people who chase their dreams that inspire others. You've inspired a new generation of guitarists and musicians. People look to you. If you could maybe go back and give your beginning self some advice, or anyone listening that wants to follow in your footsteps, like how to chase your dreams, what's just a word or two of wisdom you'd give to them listening, you know?
Uh, well, I actually get this similar question once in a while. And I think that if I'm going to tell a young person that how to do it, I just say, let's do something and don't think so much if it's the right thing to do, because it's better to do something than just sit around and try to think about doing the right thing. So as long as you keep on doing stuff, you have fun, you evolve, then things will eventually happen if you love what you do, I think. And it's better than just sitting and wondering why no one is calling you and wants you to do stuff. It's just do it.
So
That's
doing
my
it,
advice.
I love that. And obviously it's worked out very well for you. Just kind of do it. Just do something. You're never going to know what it's like, even to fail if you don't try. So I appreciate that. That's amazing, man. So
I mean, we started our own record label when I was 23. We had no idea what we were doing, and we still don't really know what we do, but we do it. So yeah, I think that's kind of a bit of the fun in life, to discover things and learn things, and not just always have someone else tell you what to do and how to do it.
yes, sir. Well, Nicholas, man, I tell you what, I appreciate you so much greatly. We try to respect our guest time and keep it tight for the interview. This is something that it was a bucket list for me. I had a lot of artists that I wanted to pursue, and you're one of them. So thank you for taking the time to do this. I
Thank
hope in
you.
the future, as more music comes out, please stay in touch. Don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you and the guys back on in the future. I'll get this produced and out to the world as soon as we can. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for making time to do this today. Okay, so.
Cool.
Thank you, my friend. You're
See
welcome
you.
to drop off. Yes, take care. We'll be in touch and have a great day. Okay. Much love, man.
Bye, man.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day. So, guys, that's Niklas Källgren. I love this guy, man. I'm telling you, the energy of what he brings to the table. This guy is just the most gracious, humble rock star you're going to meet in today's world. So, if you get a chance to listen to a couple of my favorites, of course, a Desert Cruiser, kind of their benchmark of what they're known for. Their live 2016 London album. I'm not a big fan of live albums, but I love this one. The entire Gravity X album is just, it crushes. It's awesome. And then, of course, Calm Before the Storm. They've got this blend of melodic instrumental, but also just good rock. Again, if you know who Clutch is and that style of music, this is right up that lane of that style of rock. And it's impressive. So, but Nicholas, man, I thank you on behalf of you and the band for doing this. It's been a true pleasure. You guys, Dane and I have so much more content to bring you this month. This week's going to be packed full of some great artists and some sports coming up too. So, on behalf of Dane and I, don't forget, as always, that we love you. And as Dane would say, thank you for listening.